of the open road. But before going to see the actual poem, we are also going to have a look on icebreakers activity. But before that, let me clear one thing to you. These icebreakers activities are open-ended, means there is no particular answer for a question. So the questions and answers depends on the reader, the students. So the first question: choose the mode of travel that you would like to most for a journey. Now the question is very simple question. Now what are the mode of travel, right? Now many times we have traveled all across the world, maybe with the help of airways, waterways, railways and roadways. So what mode of travel do you like most for journey? Now it depends on our personal reason, right? Maybe you will like airways, or some other people like waterways, railways and roadways, right? So you are supposed to give a reason, right? Now for example, if you would say I like to travel through airways, so you are supposed to give the particular reason why do you like to travel in airways, right? Maybe because of it is a safe, right? So you will not get any kind of threaten or any kind of fear, right? That is why you will say that I would like to have travel in airways, right? The next question is: discuss with your partner the precautions you would like to make for the journey chosen. A very important question. So, what are the precautions, right? So, whenever we go on traveling, whenever we go on journey, so we have to take precautions, we have to take care of things, right, while traveling. So, what are the precautions that you would like to take or you would like to make for the journey that you have chosen, right? For example, if you have chosen waterways, right? Now see, you're traveling through ship, right? So what precautions will you take for the journey, right? So these are the things which you are supposed to take care. Moving on to the next question: discuss the ways in which you would overcome the problems, hindrances, difficulties you face during your journey. Now, the problem that you are going to face in your journey, how would you overcome those problems or those hindrances? So, you are supposed to discuss with your friends, right? Maybe if you are traveling in a railway, right? So, in railway, so you'll come across with burglars or thieves or many other such people. So, this is the kind of hindrances and problems while having a journey in railway, right? So how would you overcome those problems? That is what you are supposed to discuss with your friend. The next question is: during every journey we have to observe certain rules. Discuss your ideas of the journey without any restrictions. You can begin like this. Now see, whenever we go on traveling, there has to be certain rules, there has to be certain norms, right? We are not supposed to cross those certain rules and norms, right? If at all we want to go safe and return safe, right? Now the next is very important: your ideas of the journey without any restrictions. Now see, how can we imagine that? How can we go on traveling without any restrictions or any rules and regulations, right? There has to be regulations and rules, right, while traveling. For example, if you are doing a journey without any restrictions, without any rule, so how would you begin? So the one is done for you: I would go alone, I would go with selected friends, right? This is what done for you. Now this is without any restrictions, right? Now if you are going a journey, if you are going on a journey without any restrictions and rules, so how would you feel? So you are supposed to state over here. So we are going to have a introduction of Walt Whitman. His lifespan is 1819 to 1892. He was an American poet, essayist and journalist. Whitman is among the most influential poets in the American canon, and it is often called the father of free verse. See, he has worked as an essayist and journalist in America. Even he has been called the father of free verse. He grew up in Huntington in a family with difficult economic status. His major work, Leaves of Grass, was published in July 1855. His O Captain, My Captain, a poem written on the death of Abraham Lincoln, is widely popular. Now, being a son and being born in a not that much good economically family, he survived well and he became a good poet, essayist, and journalist in America. His Leaves of Grass is the major work of literature, right, which was published in the year 1855, and he is widely popularly known for his poem "Oh Captain, My Captain," which is a kind of elegy and which is written on the death of Abraham Lincoln, right. So this is a very famous poem all over the world, and it is mine also very much famous. The section 1 of Song of the Open Road from Leaves of Grass is a beautiful blend of self-awareness, free will, and tenderness of heart. It gives us poet's realization that along the journey of life, one will face a test of wisdom which is not tested in any school or university. A road is something everyone uses, whether rich or poor, and it forces all levels of people to associate with one another. The road signifies mobility. Mobility? The ability to move. One can take the road as a point to start over towards something new. Whitman talks about the people and places. He argues against staying in one place for too long, although the hospitality, the reverence may be true. Now, this particular introduction of the poem gives us information about the poet and his attitude, his way of looking towards the things and human, the way he has portrayed the human life in the poem Song of the Open Road. Now, this particular poem is very amazing, which is a blend of self-awareness, free will, and tenderness of heart. When it comes to self-awareness and free will and tenderness of heart, it gives us a kind of information that how a human should be, right? And this is the one kind of journey of life, right? We can quote with the help of road, right? This is a life journey wherein the road signifies a mobility. Now, the road is a symbol of something where we need to reach, right? With the help of road we can reach our destination, which signifies mobility, that ability to move, right? And one can take the road as a point to start, and one can choose the road as a beginning, as a starting, right? Starting means something new, something novel, right? And moreover, he don't like to talk about anything but people and places. He argues, he states strongly that if the people are staying in one place for a long time, then he don't like, right? So he wanted people to be moving on, to go on. That is what he is of the opinion. Maybe the hospitality true, even if the people are giving much reverence and kind of good hospitality, so we are not supposed to stay in one place for long time, right? As soon as our intentions, our goal are reached, we are supposed to leave that place. That is what the poet is talking about. Let's start with the actual poem, Song of the Open Road. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. Now see, this is the first stanza, wherein the poet is expressing himself afoot. Afoot means by feet, right? By foot. Walking on one's own foot, that is what, a foot. And light-hearted, I take to the open road. How is the writer? Light-hearted, very happy, right? Without any sort of burdens, without any sort of sorrow and grief. So he is light-hearted, who is walking on a road, light-hearted, being happy, cheerful, right? Now he is walking on an open road. Open road, that signifies there is no any sort of difficulties, any problems and hindrances, right? And he has started a new life, right? As a road signifies, a road is a symbol of a beginning, a new beginning. So he is walking on a road very happily, pleasantly, right? And he has started something new in his life. And healthy, free, the world before me. And how is the world in front of the writer, the poet? The healthy, right? Healthy means which is favorable. And healthy is not in that sense, but healthy means which is favorable for him to do certain things in his life. That is what healthy. Free means this free sense which gives us a sense of democracy, right? Wherein people have a kind of freedom and right, kind of independence, wherein the people will not have any kind of nobody will control the people, right? The people will have a freedom, they can choose their life, they can live as they want, right? But without harming the others' freedom, right? That is what free. The world before me, and this world is very much free and favorable for me to gain, to acquire my aim, to acquire my goal. That is what the world is, free, healthy before me. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. Now this line is very important. The long brown path, what does that mean? If you have traveled in forest or any other what we can say that tourist place, wherein you will be came across a certain kind of sign or symbols, right? On the side of the road there would be a kind of arrow in a brown color, right? What does that do? What does that signifies? That signifies a kind of good direction, right? If you have seen any forest, right, in the forest you will come across there are certain signs and symbols on a tree, right, showing arrows in a left side or showing arrows in a right side. What does that show? That brown color shows a good direction. That is what proper direction. That is what the long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose and where I wanted to go, where I wanted to reach. That is what the long brown path signifies over here. And where the poet wanted to reach, where the poet wanted to go, and what the aim he wanted to achieve. That is what the long brown path is giving him, the right direction, the appropriate direction, right? Now this first stanza is very much important from that point of view. See, henceforth I ask not good fortune, I myself am good fortune. Henceforth I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing. And poet is very much anxious, right? And hereafter he says that I ask not good fortune. I do not want any kind of good luck and good fortune. Why? As I am so much happy, cheerful, right? And the world in which I am going, it is very healthy and free of, right, anything. And that is why I will not ask for good fortune. Right? If the world is so good and favorable, if the people living in this world are so good and helpful, so why would I ask for good fortune to the God? There is no need at all to ask a good fortune to the God, and that's why I will not ask. Rather, I myself am a good fortune and I am the creator of my own destiny. So I will not ask any good fortune for towards the God or to the God. So I will make my fate, right? I will make my fortune with the help of good things and hard works and hard efforts, right? That is what the poet here means. Henceforth, I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing. And hereafter, I will not whimper. Whimper means it is a new word. Make a series of low, weak, sad cries, especially with fear and pain. Right, a kind of cry and to hesitate, right? So he says, I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing. So I will not cry for anything. I will not hesitate. Right? What do you mean by whimper? That you are not supposed to cry for anything if the thing is not in your area to achieve. Right? So don't hesitate. Postpone no more. Now this is very important. The poet had said postpone no more means whatever you have decided presently, you are supposed to achieve, you are supposed to complete it in this time, within the time. That is what postpone no more means the poet don't want to postpone anything ahead, right? And need nothing. So whatever I am having, that is sufficient for me, and whatever I'm doing right now. I'm not postponing anything. So whatever I've decided, that I will do in within time, right? Within a stipulated time. I will not put the things for postpone. And need nothing, and I don't want any things, right? Whatever I am having, that is sufficient for me, and I will not expect anything more, right? That is what he is of the opinion. Done with the indoor complaints, libraries and querulous criticism, strong and content, I travel the open road. See, it is a human tendency, right? Whenever you are going on a new journey, whenever you are trying to begin your life, there has to be a problem, there has to be hindrances, right? People will definitely try to criticize you, people will try to pull your leg down, because it is a human tendency. When the people are progressing, the other people, maybe his relatives, maybe his kinsmen, or maybe his friends as well, they don't like at all if the person is making progress, right? That progress is definitely be a problem for the other people. And that is what he says, done with indoor complaints, libraries and querulous criticism. So I have fulfilled all the things, all the complaints, right? Whatever I had faced, I have finished all those complaints, right? Whatever complaints I had finished. Libraries and whatever dealings I had, whatever deals I had done in my life, so I have finished with all, right? And done with everything. And querulous criticism, the word querulous means complaining, showing that one is irritated. Now see, as I had told you, if one is living in the life, if one is leading a successful life, has to face criticism. Criticism means that to criticize someone for his things, whether it is good or bad, some or the other kind of opinions are being given to the people, to the man, right? That is what, and the poet has done with the indoor complaints, libraries and querulous criticism. And now he has become strong and content, I travel the open road. Now as the poet has faced many problems, many hindrances, right? And severe sort of criticism, now he has become strong. Now see, it is a human tendency, or what we can say that it is general, right? Once we take many things, once we experience many things, we become strong. In the same way, the poet has become strong and content, right? Why content? Because he has fulfilled all the things. That is why he is content, satisfied, and he is ready to travel to the open road. That is what the poet wanted to say here. The earth, that is sufficient. I do not want the constellations any nearer. I know they are very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. Now this stanza is very informative, and which has a kind of imagery, which has kind of metaphorical language. Here the word constellation means a fate or destiny or influential group of people, right? Now whatever earth is there, that is sufficient to achieve my aim, right? Now I do not want any constellations or influential group of people, right, to near me, right? I don't want any certain things, because whatever I am having, that is sufficient for me, and I know they are very well where they are. And wherever these people are and their fate, the destiny, I know that they are well on their own place. So I do not want any constellations nearer to me. And I know, again the poet is saying, and I know they suffice for those who belong to them. And that is enough, right? And they are enough for those people who belong to them. They are sufficient, they are able. That is what the poet is saying. So I myself am ready and sufficient to achieve my aim, to my goal. I do not want any sort of constellation, that is any sort of influential groups of people near to me, right? And wherever they are good and they are well on their own place. So I do not want any such things, right? And that shows that kind of satisfaction that the writer is having in his life. So he is very much contentment and satisfied whatever in his life he is having. Now the next stanza, which is given in bracket, what we call in a poetical terms, that is parenthesis. So the next stanza is given in a bracket. What the poet says: still here I carry my old delicious burden, I carry them, men and women, I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I am filled with them and I will fill them in return. See, very much expressive and informative. What does the writer say? He says, I carry my old delicious burdens. Now the word delicious burdens means sweet memories of his past, right? See what kind of metaphorical language he has used, right? Now he is very much enthusiastic, right? Why? Because as he is carrying his old delicious burdens, that is sweet memories of his past, means whatever he has done in his life, that he is carrying with him. And what he is carrying with him, I carry them. Now he is carrying those delicious burdens, those delicious memories. I carry them, men and women. I carry them with me wherever I go, and wherever I am going, wherever I am leading, I will always carry with me, because as this is the part and parcel of my life. As we know that in our human lives too, see whatever memories we have, we always try to live with those memories, right? Sometimes what happens, whether it is good memory or bad memory, we often tend to remember those memories, right? Maybe school life, maybe college life, or maybe young life. That is what the writer is also talking about. Delicious burdens. Delicious, a kind of metaphorical language is used. How a burden can be delicious, but the writer has used the word delicious burdens, wherein the burden means a kind of memories, and these memories are so sweet and delicious. That is what he said. And he is carrying with him all the things wherever he is going. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them, and it is not possible for him to be free from those memories, right? As it is the part and parcel of his life. In the same way, we people too will not be able to separate us from those memories, or those what we can say, that those sweet and delicious memories as well. We are too not able to make free to get rid of those memories, right? In the same way, the poet is saying, I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I am filled with them and I will fill them in return. So I am full of my delicious memories, delicious past, right? And I don't need anything, and in fact in return I will fill them. And he says, I will also fill them in return. So this is what the poem is all about. I hope students, you would have understood the poem